head coach of the Buffalo Bills, who set a record today, or at least announced a record for number of season tickets being sold in the history, 55-year history of the Buffalo Bills. Over 57,000 season tickets have been sold by the Buffalo Bills, who are clearly excited, their fan base, that what's going on in Western New York, and that has to start with the new head coach up there, Rex Ryan, who I'm pleased to be phoning into the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing great, Rich. How you doing?
I am doing fine. I'm seeing you out there playing softball. I'm seeing you take some hacks. I'm seeing you, running OTAs. I'm seeing you all over the place. Looks like you're having a blast, Rex.
Yeah, I really am. Those are things that you realize that you're 52, though. When you get to those things. Back in the day, no problem. You used to be able to bomb them out of there. Now it's like, gosh, I have no strength. I can't see anymore, and I got no chance. But it is fun. It is good. It's great to get out there with your guys, get out in the community and support some good causes.
Yeah, Rex Ryan, head coach of the Buffalo Bills, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So I just want to ask you a couple quick questions about your team before moving on to the theme of the week, here being Father's Day week. You mentioned earlier this week that you don't have LeBron James at quarterback. What did you mean by that, Rex?
Well, just that you're top 1, 2, 3 guys in the league playing that position, and we don't have them. We don't have that one guy that is going to put the team on his shoulders, kind of like a Peyton Manning would or somebody like that. We don't have that, but we can. It's not an excuse by any stretch, but we're going to be good enough to get it done a different way. And we have capable quarterbacks. We just don't have the probably one good enough to do it himself.
And many people are mentioning that Tyrod Taylor may have a shot at gaining this starting job. Would you say that he does have a shot at the starting job?
Absolutely, I would. I think nothing's been decided. Obviously we haven't even been in pads yet. But as the OTAs are finishing up this week and things, nobody's really taken that thing to say, hey, this is definitely the number one guy. And all three guys have had their moments. Tyrod Taylor's one of them.
And with that saying, I mean, you've got, other than your quarterback position, you've got LaShawn McCoy at running back with Fred Jackson. You've got Sammy Watkins with Percy Harvin, also Robert Woods, and a lot of other playmakers that are in the mix right there, Coach. Is this the best offense you've ever had as a head coach in the NFL?
I'm not sure. When I first went to the Jets, we had an incredible, offensive line, that we really leaned on. We had a whole slew of running backs. We had a three-headed monster at running back. So I don't know. But I will say this, we're pretty darn talented. And when you look at, you mentioned our skill position players, you can throw in Charles Clay in that mix. We're a team that nobody has fullback. We have 2 fullbacks. So we feel pretty good about it. The great thing is we're going to find out soon enough, but we feel very confident in this football team, and I'll be excited to finally get all these guys on the field. When we haven't really seen Sammy Watkins really play yet. With injuries, we got 3 guys in our secondary that haven't really practiced. Stephon Gilmore, Williams, and McKelvin yet. But when I look out there, I'm like, we are a talented team, even without those guys. Now you put those guys in the mix. I can't wait to watch it.
And wherever you've gone, Coach, on the defensive side of the ball, there's been somebody that's either you've inherited or you went ahead and drafted that you were able to mold in a way and raise the level of their game, or at least help them in that regard. There's a lot of bold-faced names on your defense. Who that you have gotten, now that you're there and seeing these guys, who do you think that unheralded guy who could play a significant role for you might be, Coach?
It's hard to say because I think you got 3 guys that have gone to the Pro Bowl as, with the defensive line, and the only guy that never went was Jerry Hughes, and he's probably as good as any of them. So he's not really unheralded. I know he was in the top 100 players, but he's the guy that can really jump out at, he jumps out at me. We have a little nickel, that plays for us, Roby, Nickel Roby. He's a little bitty dude, but he can play. I mean, he can flat play. So, we're loaded back there. I can't wait for, I think Stephon Gilmore's going to take a big jump as a corner for us. So I think defensively we're set, and Nigel Bradham is a guy that one of our inside linebackers. I've been really impressed with him as well.
And last question, your old place of business, there's been a lot of conversation about cornerbacks. Antonio Cromartie talking about Richard Sherman and how he doesn't travel like Darrelle Revis does. From your perspective, what makes a better cornerback? One who travels or one that you could scheme around on just one side of the field?
Well, I'll say this. I love to have, when you look at them, I can't say I'd love to have them all, which I was going to.
I don't know.
We don't want to get in trouble. So I can't say that. But I obviously, you watch those guys, Rich Sherman's an outstanding player, fantastic player, and he does what he does. Darrelle obviously was the best I ever had, in how, we used him all over the place against the number one receiver. That doesn't happen a whole lot. So, we'll see. Cromartie's awful good corner, and a guy that I think, like I say, you'll be mentioning, will it be in the same breath? We'll find out. But Stephon Gilmore's a guy that I think is outstanding, has a chance to be absolutely terrific. Leotis McKelmon's a good football player here. We drafted a young man named Ronald Darby that, got criticized for not getting the ball thrown at him when he was in college. We took him in the second round. And I'm like, there's a reason, and we're seeing it. Guys don't get open against him, and when he does, he has about an interception of practice, so excited about him as well.
Yeah, he was the first player who took off the board with you not having a first-round pick. I've got Rex Ryan, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show that celebrates fatherhood every single day this week. We've got a full slate of guests all week long leading up to Father's Day on Sunday. How is your dad, Coach?
No, he's hanging in there. He's I think he's had about 8 bouts of cancer. He had encephalitis. He's had all this stuff. But you know what? He's, as everybody says, like, my gosh, he's probably the toughest man I've ever met. And I'm like, to anybody that knows him is not surprised by that. Never complains and all that. His hearing's going and things, but, kind of confined to a wheelchair. But, man, he's still Buddy Ryan. And you get it in him. He's awesome. All he wants to do when you get him out there is talk football. He talks about my son playing at, Clemson. He talks about, my team and my brother's team and all that stuff. So, it's still great. Like you say, he's still Buddy Ryan, still my dad. And it's, obviously it's a setback, the things that he's going through physically, but you can't affect his heart.
What did you learn about fatherhood from your dad?
Oh, I tell you what, if I hope I'm half as good a father as he is. I try to be a great father, but he's it's the caring things. He was that's what jumps out at me, I think. And I'd look out, I played baseball and stuff, and him and one other dad would be, in high school, everybody realizes their kids aren't Mickey Mantle anymore, so they quit coming to little leagues and all that. But my dad would be out there every single day, every game and all that stuff. He made them all. Whether you're on the road, playing at home, never mattered. And that meant a lot to me. And then obviously some of the times, like we had some great times on my dad's farm, my brother and I, just to the little things where we'd work sun up, sundown all the time. And we lived in a little tiny trailer, on the farm because we had like the caretaker of the property living in the house. Mm-hmm. Had no air conditioning, no nothing. And we had this little bitty TV, black and white TV, and we used to watch the great playoff games, with the Celtics and the Lakers back when, it had Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and stuff like that. My brother was cheering for the Lakers. He was cheering for the Celtics. So we had some great times, man. Times that you'll never forget.
What was your dad like on the sidelines, being, as the parent, the sports parent, when maybe a call was going against you? What type of spectator was your dad at those events?
No,
Coach?
He just took it in. He was great. He'd sit in there and never really critique you, too bad, and and things like that. But he knew I was a better player than my brother. No, I'm just kidding. But he was, but no, he just enjoyed watching. He was there really to support us and things like that. The funniest one though is with the grandkid. It's just the opposite. I remember he goes out. He watched my son play one game. He returned a punt for a touchdown, had an interception for a touchdown, and like I don't know if he ran it for a touchdown or had a catch for a touchdown. And he's telling everybody, well, that's my grandson. He's clearly the best kid out here. And I'm like, oh, great. You got the parents of the kids that are sitting in the stands and all that stuff. And he's just crowing about his grandkid and all that stuff.
Man.
So that was pretty funny. But I don't think he ever did that with my brother and I.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Rex Ryan, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. And when you saw Seth play in Clemson, you caught some heat, you caught some flack that you left the team. And sometimes during evaluation periods for your team, I'm sure you were locked in, still taking part in that. But why did you go see your son play, Rex? I know it's a simple question, but I'd love to hear the answer.
Yeah, sure. I think, Rich, the thing is, and I'll do it every time, because those decisions were made. We had already made our roster cuts, all that type of stuff. I talked to the young men, that were involved in it. And so the work part was done. And if I have a chance to watch my son play, I'm going to go watch him 100% of the time. Now, how often do I get to watch my kid? Probably once a season. And you know what? I don't care what people think. I ought to be standing here watching tape. I watch plenty of tape. But, this is an opportunity for me to be like everybody else and have a chance to watch my kid play, and I'm going to take advantage of it. And, it is it's funny because my kid never even played that day. He was redshirted, but, I have a chance to support him. And then I watched the bowl game last year when, by the way, Clemson beat Oklahoma 40-6. My kid played in 10 snaps. You thought, the way my wife tells the story, you think he's Sammy Watkins, but he's not. But this year I'm going to get to watch him. He's a starting holder for him, a backup receiver and things. And I'll be proud just like any other dad would be of his kid. And I may only get to see him once or twice during the season, but I'm going to take advantage of it.
Last question for you, Coach. Tomorrow we've got Jim Kelly, his wife, and his daughter in studio tomorrow to talk about fatherhood on our Tuesday program. And I know that you've gotten a chance to spend more time with Jim Kelly than ever in your life over the past few months. What has it been like for you, Coach?
Oh man, he's just phenomenal. I think, Rich, first off, his nephew was playing at Clemson and things. He's now playing, I believe, at Ole Miss. He transferred and things. But I got a chance to meet Jim Kelly then, and we've kind of, talked on and off for a while. And you talk about tough guys. This is one of the toughest guys you'll ever meet in your life, and just an inspiration to not just to me, but to thousands and thousands of people. And I know he's an inspiration to our football team and this organization. But truly been blessed to be around him. He's come in, he's talked to our quarterbacks, he does things, and man, oh man. And when you got the support, I tell you, from a personal standpoint, when he came out and supported me, I can't tell you what that did for me in this community. It was, when you get the okay from a Jim Kelly, then the entire community got behind, me as a coach, and I'll never forget, for doing that for me.
Coach, thanks for calling in. Happy Father's Day in advance to you, and pass that along to your dad, will you please?
I really appreciate it, Rich. Thank you so much.
Oh, you bet. Thank you. That's Rex Ryan, head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.